In a typical modern classroom, a student trying to write an essay faces a silent, continuous competition for their focus. Even sitting face down on a desk, a device exerts a gravitational pull, fracturing concentration through a steady drip of subtle interruptions. Schools spent years treating these devices as neutral tools, no different from a calculator or a dictionary. But the underlying architecture of a smartphone is built specifically for interruption, novelty, and psychological reward. For adolescents, whose social identities are still forming, the emotional weight of that device is immense. It acts as a friendship network, a daily status symbol, and an acute source of anxiety. Any school policy that treats phones as mere classroom clutter will inevitably fail. The actual conflict taking place at the desk is a completely one-sided battle against a highly optimized algorithmic attention economy. Major international bodies are tracking a massive administrative response to this daily battle. Governments and school systems are increasingly identifying unchecked devices as an active threat to student well-being. This map visualizes the sheer scale of the international movement. Projections indicate that by 2026, 114 education systems will have implemented national school phone bans, capturing 58% of all countries worldwide. On a purely logistical level, these policies work. Recent reporting from the Associated Press, tracking thousands of U.S. schools, confirms that school-wide bans drastically reduce visible in-class phone usage. Yet, the Washington Post reports a critical data anomaly. Despite plummeting phone use, studies tracking lockable pouch systems show minimal immediate improvements in test scores, engagement, or mental health. Forcibly removing the device solves the visible problem, creating a quiet room. But a quiet room does not automatically produce deep, engaged learning. School districts often find themselves paralyzed by a rigid choice between two extremes, either removing technology entirely to prevent distraction, or allowing it uninhibited to prepare students for a digital world. Solving the learning gap requires moving past behavioral discipline. Schools must start treating attention as a rigorous, teachable tech-building skill rather than an assumed personality trait. This concept is called attention literacy. It requires expanding standard digital citizenship lessons past simple online safety to include algorithmic awareness, the psychology of distraction, and the actual mechanics of self-regulation. A digitally responsible student is someone who understands how their own focus is manipulated and possesses the cognitive awareness to intentionally disconnect. Teaching that level of awareness is impossible if the policy itself collapses under its own weight. When phone restrictions lack systemic support, they devolve into a constant policing burden that exhausts individual teachers. A durable policy requires a complete school-wide infrastructure. That means unified leadership, consistent daily storage routines across every single classroom, and explicit, agreed-upon exceptions for medical needs or accessibility tools. It also requires a difficult shift for families. Parents have to unlearn the expectation of constant, immediate access to their children during the school day, allowing urgent communication to route back through the main office. Protecting student attention is a massive logistical challenge that forces the administration, the classroom, and the living room to operate as a single, aligned ecosystem. Schools find the most success when they rigorously restrict devices during learning hours while simultaneously delivering deep, proactive digital citizenship education. When these two strategies are deployed together, the friction between banning and teaching begins to fade. This diagram illustrates how boundaries and skill building act as complementary forces. One provides the necessary environment for the other to take root. This establishes a definitive pedagogical rule. Digital tools should only be used when they definitively prove they enhance comprehension, practice, or creativity for that specific lesson. True educational innovation is measured by the specific intentionality of the tool chosen for the task, whether that tool is a tablet, a whiteboard, or complete silence. By placing limits on the device, the school prioritizes the student's capacity for complex thought. It treats attention as a resource deserving active protection. Modern education succeeds when moving toward the cultivation of resilient focus. The ultimate objective is an environment where attention is the most valued resource.